Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the EU Showmatch featuring Team PaddyMcTunnelSnakes and Infinitesimalrechnung. And we'll just call them Team Tunnel and Team Infinite because those are very long team names. Anyways, my name is Sir Potato the Ninth, and I am joined here by Meowing Cat, and we are getting into pick bands.
Yeah, and into pick bands. Looking at the draft so far, Tunnel has some interesting things, but Infinite has a really strong composition. So we're gonna see how that plays out as we get into it.
We're seeing Malzahar band away. Just because Malzahar very oppressive in lane, and of course once he hits 6, he has that suppression that is incredibly annoying and frustrating to play against. It is very strong, so makes sense to see him banned away, as well as Nunu, very oppressive in the jungle right now. Very strong counter jungling, and able to provide a lot of utility to his team with his recent W buffs, giving a lot more ability power and attack speed.
Yeah, and with that off the table, that does open up the jungle pool a little bit more. We see that the Jarvan was taken and the Sejuani, so not quite up there with that Nunu, but powerful junglers. Jarvan very high priority still, and so it's good for Infinite that they got that. And it does pair very well with that Orianna that we see picked up from Minute Root. So that Jarvan, the Cataclysm into the Orianna Shockwave is a very good combo. And I mean, if you look at the enemy team, Tunnel has 2 squishies in their solo laners. They can get bursted really hard, and so they have to be very careful in that mid to late game for that Wombo combo.
Yeah, and it does seem like it'll come down to their positioning, because if they get anywhere, or if they group up too much, then Jarvan can just EQ, flag and drag into Cataclysm. Cho'Gath pops his Rupture, now everybody gets knocked up. Orianna ulti, now everybody gets pulled together again. And then, who's their ADC? We'll see. Misfortune. She can pop her ultimate and lay down massive amounts of damage, and then the entire team is dead. So if they're all standing together, then that could be detrimental to their team, and potentially lead to a lost team fight.
Yeah, just adding on to that, the MF with the bullet time as well as the Cho'Gath, you can just throw a Rupture and, silence on them and just gobble up a target. That is just... And you just throw an Orianna or Alistar on it. Just throw a cow in there too. Why not? Even more ball delivery, right? So just all in on that Wombo combo. And then on the flip side, you've got a little more, pick potential, a little more map pressure, and mobility, I should say. It's much more utility focused rather than Wombo combo. You have the GP with the Cannon Barrage. You have Sivir with, the On the Hunt, so you can just get everyone just running everywhere really fast. And running into them with an Annie, with that GP Cannon Barrage, with the, the Leona and Sejuani to follow up. This means that their Wombo combo isn't nearly as strong, right? Their team fight, very good, but not as good. But they can engage from very far away and catch Infinite out of position and in rotations.
Yeah. In going just off of that alone, I'm already leaning a little bit towards PaddyMcTunnelSnake, not PaddyMcTunnelSnake, the Team Infinite, just because their team fight does appear to be a little bit stronger than Team Paddy. And as far as objectives or win conditions go, both of them do seem to have drafted team fight compositions. So we're going to be seeing a lot of fights breaking out in the mid to late game. So I'm not expecting this game to be, or if all the lanes go even, then this could be like a very intense game, because neither team have a lot of resources on either side of their teams. They're going to allow them to just insanely pull ahead of the other team. None of the lanes are like really favoring one side or the other. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see who is able to pull ahead in the end.
Well, I do want to mention that there is a Cho'Gath versus GP up on the top side. With the Kleptomancy on the Gangplank against the Cho'Gath, he will be able to get a lot of gold value from that. Maybe he's not going to be solo killing the Cho'Gath too much, but he will get a lot of income. And since he's running Resolve secondary, it's going to be pretty hard for Cho'Gath to finish him off with that true damage, because there's a lot of base health on that GP from that Resolve secondary. So we might see a very dominant top side from Reactor if he's abusing Primos's Cho'Gath.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I believe I've thrown in all of my thoughts. Do you have anything else before we throw it over to some music?
The Alistar should be able to counter the Leo in the bot lane pretty well, so I don't think we'll be seeing too much action there. Mid lane, obviously very gankable from those junglers, so that's where we're going to see a lot of attention, I feel, with the low mobility from that Orianna and Annie.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So with that said, we are going to be putting on some music while we wait for the spectator delay to die down. So as always, don't touch that mouse, and we will be right back. Welcome back to the Week 3 EU West Showmatch featuring PaddyMcTunnelSnakes and Team Infinitesimalrechnung. My name is Sir Potato the Ninth, joined by Meowing Cat, and we are on to Rift. And on Team PaddyMcTunnelSnake, you got Reactor on Gangplank in the top lane, Necta on Sejuani in the jungle, Hargate Hylia on Annie in the mid lane, Demented Grapples on Sivir in the ADC position, and Teresa 2 on Leona in the support role.
Yeah, and on the red team, we have Infinitesimalrechnung. That is a hell of a name. With Primos up in the top lane on Cho'Gath, Noxie and Dream on Jarvan jungle, Minute Root in the mid lane Orianna, Kingslayer 1 as Misfortune and AD carry, and Mr. Thorser as Alistar support.
Yeah, and already you can see Team Infinite with the barrage of stopwatches. I'm going to have a fun time casting those fights where all of those are getting used. So a bit of defensive stance being taken up. Interesting, the Misfortune is starting Longsword as opposed to a Doran's Blade or Doran's Shield. Will make buying her first items easier, and will give more potion sustain in lane. I'm a fan of that. I don't really think that you need the 80 health or the lifesteal. So I can definitely understand the reasons behind taking that.
Yeah, the triple pot giving a lot of immediate sustain in that laning phase, and will make it easier to rush that Youmuu's Ghostblade or Duskblade if she does opt into going for that. So it makes it a bit easier to rush her items. She does have a little less effective HP though, so she has to be careful to be bursted by Leona. It's a bit interesting that neither support did go for the Ignite, even though they're kind of those aggressive, all-in supports. I maybe it's, okay for Alistar since you don't really have as much kill pressure against a Sivir. But I feel like Leona would want to go for that Ignite because you can just burst on that Misfortune.
I am a fan of Alistar into Sivir. I'm not sure, but Sivir was actually picked after the Alistar. But I am a fan of Alistar because he has two ways to be able to break Sivir's spell shield with the headbutt and with the trample. So if Sivir spell shields one of those spells, she's going to get hit by the other one.
Yeah, the problem with that though is that if he's predicting that she's going to use spell shield and she just doesn't spell shield, she just gets knocked away from the headbutt.
Yeah.
And then if he uses the pulverize with the headbutt, she just blocks both of it. So it's kind of, one or the other. It's a bit of a weird matchup. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
A lot of trading up in this top lane.
Yeah, both of them, it's pretty interesting. Cho'Gath isn't usually a laner who you expect to be doing a lot of trading, whereas Gangplank definitely benefits, especially with Kleptomancy, off of getting those early trades.
Yeah, the more that Primos goes for trades here, the more gold Reactor is going to be getting, and so he's really got to watch out about how far he's posturing forward, because he's just going to get whacked away by Qs. I'm watching Reactor queuing a lot of minions though, which I'm not a huge fan of. It doesn't... How many Klepto procs has he gotten? Because he's gotten a lot of CS with his Qs.
In the bottom lane is Necta onto Kingslayer. Not actually going to force anything out though. I like that patience. I think there is definitely a merit to Reactor using Parley on the minions, because he is going to be getting the extra silver serpents, and he's going to be able to get his ultimate upgrades even faster.
Yeah, but then at that point, why even run Klepto, You're not getting any Klepto procs here. You might as well just run Grasp or something else. He's getting a few, but it's much less efficient.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this Cho'Gath could be bullied out of lane at this point if he was queuing him instead, and then he could just be farming with, his barrels and his Q if he still wants those serpents.
Absolutely. Ooh, Hellgate not actually landing that combo. That's a bit of a feels bad, man. Alright. There's not a lot of aggressive playstyle from either team. Everybody's seeming very content just to sit down and farm out for a bit. Although Noxian Dream is in the mid lane right now.
Yeah. I don't think anything's going to come of it because of Hargate Heli's positioning in this lane. That's the thing about mid lane. Since it is the shortest lane, it is a bit hard to gank. But because both of these mid laners are low mobility, you have to make sure that, they're not too far pushed forward. Because if someone's at this halfway point, like Annie currently is, they're very susceptible to ganks. Jarvan, sadly, was here a little bit too early. But look at Hargate Heli's health right there. If Jarvan was there in that position, 20 seconds later... right now even, you see this position from this Annie. This is a perfect gank opportunity, and he's just up doing Krugs. And so, this would easily force out 1 or 2 summoners from this Annie. So, a bit mistimed.
Yeah. Right now in the bottom lane, I really just want to see somebody make a move. Mr. Thorcer is on Alistar. Oh, hold on. Speaking of making a move, Noxian Dream in the mid lane, actually forcing out a flash. Hargate highly very frightened of that command Shockwave. But I want to see somebody making a move. You have two very hard engaging supports, and yet neither of them are willing to do exactly what they need to do. Engage. So it's a little, it's kind of interesting to watch it. And right now, both junglers are clearing their opponent's raptors. That's a little bit funny.
Something I want to point out really quickly is that since we just hit the 6-minute mark, those stopwatches do come online. So everyone with a stopwatch in their inventory, you kind of have to keep an eye out for them, you know. And those lanes are a bit harder to gank. So that's everyone on the bottom side of the map, as well as Noxy and Dream for the side of Infinites. While for Tunnel, they only have one stopwatch for the one person that doesn't have it on his laner opponent, which is the GP up in that top lane.
Right now would be a good time to look to force a dive. You have 3 members able to swap around the tower aggro, so you have the option to do that. But once again, nobody's willing to pull the trigger.
Yeah, I would like to see Necta put a little bit of pressure onto this Cho'Gath. Primos has been shoving in constantly as a melee matchup. And I mean, you know, Cho'Gath is pretty susceptible to ganks. With no mobility, he just got this feast at 6, so I mean, up until that point, he was, you know, didn't even have any real turn potential. Even with that feast, though, he doesn't have that high damage output. The only way that you die, really, is Noxy and Dream counter ganking. And as long as you have decent vision control, which he does have trackers and a warding totem, so he should, there shouldn't be any real threat of that happening.
You know, it's a little interesting that Noxy and Dream opted into a very aggressive jungle build. Instead of actually building the rest of his jungle item, he just opts directly into that Tiamat. What are your thoughts on that?
So, obviously, you know, having that jungle item does help a bit with ganks, but going for the Tiamat helps a lot with the clear speed, and does get a bit of extra damage out on the ganks, so it's perfectly fine in my opinion. I'm not a jungle main by any means, but it will help him clear efficiently. It'll help him match the Sejuani's farm, which she has been farming like crazy. 500 gold up, 20 CS. So hopefully it'll help him pick up his pace a little bit. But the jungle clear from Noxy and Dream was a little bit inefficient, and his ganks did not show up, as, you know, he was hovering mid lane for quite a while at an inopportune time. So and that's hopefully this will help him accelerate and kind of catch up again when he made some misplays through his pathing.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing to see a lack of ganks, because both of these junglers are good gankers at level 6, but I mean, I definitely think there's merit in their pre-early 6, or their pre-6 ganks. With Sejuani, you're able to get a free stun in, and then get another stun in if you're ganking somebody who can auto-attack the enemy. In the Noxy and Dream, you got the flag and drag on J4, but we haven't seen either of those utilized at all. So both of these teams have very aggressive playstyles built into their team compositions, but yet neither of them are willing to actually play aggressively. Both of them are just farming it out.
Everyone having all of their tools available, almost everyone except for that Annie having their flash, you know, all other summoners besides Smite up. I'm wondering why we're not seeing more action, more stuff used in these engages. Jarvan could go gank someone with that the Cataclysm with his flag and drag into the flash, if so be it, right? Yeah. So far, he has not been playing aggressively at all. Same for Necta on that Sejuani. We're not seeing any kind of aggressive jungle play.
Oh, 5-man dragon take? That looks to be the option. Primos is sacrificing a lot of top lane farm, but this will look like it's going to be a pretty free dragon take. Teresa does spot them out. Dragon takes is taken. Stack going over Primos, and now Mr. Thorster onto Teresa too. The slow coming through, forcing the flash out, and that's going to be it.
Yeah.
Primos does teleport back top, and does get that free stack from the dragon. I was going to comment on how he hasn't used his ultimate yet, and he didn't have a stack. But I guess him just walking down to Dragon and teleporting back top lane, definitely a creative strategy.
Yeah, so I was going to mention that. Because he walked down instead of, you know, using his TP down, he does have teleport to get back to lane. The problem with that is he's giving TP advantage over to Reactor. And look at the CS difference up in the top lane now, 91 to 65. There's about a 700, approaching 800 gold lead for Reactor.
Dream. Maybe getting caught out, flag and drag connecting onto Necta, but maybe not going to be enough. The ultimate coming through for Reactor, first blood going over to Hargate highly, and now Mini Shroot is going to flash away to stay safe.
Yeah, really good collapse from Hargate Haley onto Noxian Dream, securing that kill. The cannon barrage was used by Reactor, but it didn't look like any damage checks came out from it
Nope.
in time, so no assist going over to that GP, which it's a little sad. But
Yeah.
at least Sejuani gets some gold so she can buy some items. I mean, there's something. It's at least someone got an assist, right?
Mhm.
It's obviously better for it to go to a carry, and now GP without that ultimate isn't going to be able to play as aggressively into that Cho'Gath, which even more unfortunate situations. But you know, he should still be fine up in this top lane with the Sheen and the Phage.
I want to take a moment to point out the items for the ADCs. Right now, Kingslayer is sitting on a completed Youmuu's and does have the magical boots, but Demented Grapplist only has a BF sword and a Zeal. And of course, a completed item is always going to be much better than some of its parts. So Kingslayer is already at a pretty significant advantage, especially considering the fact that they only have 200 more gold on them, yet they have so many more available options and so many more completed items. Well, you understand what I'm saying, because they have the boots, they have the armor, and they also have the stopwatch. Uh-oh. Halgate Haley looking onto Minitroot, maybe not having good damage to finish it off, spell coming off, cooldown, and the kill does go over. Minitroot not having any summoner spells available to use defensively. So Hargate just picking up the free kill.
Yeah, Minute Root just kind of out of position there. Hargate Haley didn't even need to use Tibbers there. I mean, that was just kind of no summoners. You got to respect that Annie does have the Proto Belt, which gave the gap close. Really good usage of that Proto Belt, which meant that Hargate Haley was going to stick onto Minute Root and no escape for that Orianna. Maybe a Shockwave away.
Ooh, Teresa too, looking for an engage, connecting onto Mr. Thorster. Now the ultimate, getting the stun onto Kingslayer. Now Necta coming through, does not have ultimate available. Mr. Thorster, the stopwatch is used by Kingslayer, and now stun coming through onto Mr. Thorster, but nothing else is going to come through.
Yeah, stopwatch used from the Misfortune. A little weird to see her use stopwatch in that position because she was a little susceptible afterwards.
Another Teresa onto Mr. Thorster. Hargate Haley getting the ultimate. Now the ultimate coming out from Kingslayer. Hargate Haley using Tibbers, not actually getting the kill though, getting a good significant portion of Kingslayer's health down though. And now this is going to be a 4v1 in the bottom lane. But it appears that the bottom lane of TunnelSnake is just going to be going into the mid lane.
Yeah, and this Annie is huge right now, 3-0. She is roaming around the map, and anywhere she goes, bodies will drop.
Yeah,
Tibbers wasn't even needed for that kill on the mid lane, or for the Alistar. Tibbers was just used to kind of be like, get out of here, Misfortune.
Would be doing LS proud.
Yeah. I do have to mention, with all the roaming that Annie is doing, she is down a little bit of CS, but it is completely made up for by the kills. And speaking of CS, up in this top lane, still a very large CS lead for that GP, 124 to 98, big difference there, about 1,000 gold lead. And in this bot lane, everything is pretty even, although there is a slight gold lead because of the 10 CS and the assist on that Sivir.
Noxian Dream and Primoz onto Reactor. He uses his ultimate defensively, maybe having the damage to take out Noxian Dream. The Cataclysm comes through in the stopwatch, but Primoz gobbles him up, and Reactor gets taken out.
Yeah, really good stopwatch usage from Noxian Dream, showing why you take that rune
on anybody that you're able to take it on.
Yeah. You normally don't lose out on anything too important to get it. I mean, and even once you use the stopwatch, if you're not going to upgrade it, you sell it, you get 200 gold back. So it's really valuable to have it. And even once it's done with and it's used, you still get some kind of value from it, which is used towards your other items. So yeah, really nice to have that. I don't think Noxian Dream will be upgrading it.
Hargate Haley onto Minitroot, and now the barrier coming out. The kill does go through as the shockwave was not enough to pull Hargate Haley off of him. Now Teresa positioning aggressively, not actually going to be throwing anything though.
Yeah, Miniroot, Flash and Stopwatch are up. A bit intriguing to see that only the barrier was used, and the Orianna is still going to die there. You could have flashed away and then stopwatched some of the damage, possibly from the Annie Q, or just flashed away, barriered. I mean, that probably
in the bottom lane, Teresa too very far out of position, trying his best to run away. her best.
Netra coming in though.
Onto Mr. Thorster. Bullet time coming from Kingslayer. The exhaust coming through from Mr. Thorster. Not actually slowing because it's a Dwani. Now Teresa seems to be the next target. But in top lane, anyways. Was that a cannon barrage? No, that wasn't. Okay. So again, nothing else coming through. There is a 3,000 gold lead in favor of TunnelSnake. But they haven't really used that to capitalize on anything. No towers or dragons have been taken by them. There is a mountain dragon available right now, though.
Yeah, and with that dragon, you know, you kind of do want to have it. It's really nice to have, and I mean, if you could have Cho'Gath get the feast stack, that would be great. But ideally, he's not going to go down there again, walking down there. The only situation where he should be there is if he's TPing in from the top lane to match the GP or to win a fight down there.
You know, speaking of Cho'Gath using Feast, he's not using Feast at all. Right now, he only has 3 stacks. He has the Dragon that he got earlier, he's got Reactor, and he has 1 minion. I want to see him using that more. And I understand that he's trying to use it very aggressively, but come on.
He might be able to.
Highly on a Minute and oh my goodness, just demolishing him. Getting the stun, getting Tibbers down, and deleting Minute Root from the game.
Yeah. Noxian Dream.
Uh-oh. Mr. Thorster in a bad position. Pulverize, or headbutting. And now Kingslayer getting exhausted up. Force flash away. And now Mr. Thorster is just running as fast as he can, but Demented Grapplist takes him out in the end. And Kingslayer is still alive, though.
Yeah. Really good use.
Started up by TunnelSnake.
Yeah. Great Solar Flare from the Leona, forcing out Misfortune Summoners as well. Knowing that, you know, Mr. Thorster was already going to die, Teresa too changed the aggression onto that Misfortune. And that was really well played, because now that MF doesn't have any more summoners, and she is very vulnerable to any kind of ganks or CC coming her way.
Wretched Glory coming out from Premos, getting the slow onto Reactor. The Flag Drag not connecting, the Cataclysm does. Now Reactor in a bad position. The Chilling Smite does come out, and the Flash Ultimate from Premos does take him out. Now the mid turret does fall in the, in the mid lane. Command Shockwave coming through, connecting onto 3 members of TunnelSnake. Now the teleport coming from Premos. Noxian Dream in the top lane, clearing some minions.
Yeah, I was going to say Noxian Dream up in this top lane means that that dragon is completely free to take. And his gank up in the top lane at first didn't get any real value out of it. He TP'd up there, he just went up there, used his flag drag, and didn't ulti Reactor, so that GP didn't even have to burn flash in that fight. But then he repeat ganked, the flash was used, and he still dropped. So good repeat gank from Noxian Dream. First one might have been misplayed, but definitely made up for it with that second gank. But just because of all that time spent in that top lane, you lose a Drake, you lose that mid tower, and I mean, you get some damage on the top tower and a kill on GP for the Cho'Gath. It's not really worth it.
I am warming up to Premos's, how do I put this? I guess his lack of usage of Feast. Right now he has 2 kills, both of them from his ultimate, and he really only has eaten 1 minion. So he has much room to grow on Cho'Gath. So it does seem like Team Infinite do have very good scaling with Cho'Gath because he has so many feast stacks already, and he has so many left that he's able to get off of minions. Although he actually has to use his feast on minions to get those stacks from minions, which is something that we've yet to see all that much. Hargate Haley coming in, disconnecting, not actually getting a gank, but Mr. Thorster running away. We get the pause.
A bit unfortunate.
Yeah, you see him walking up, then the DC comes through, and then immediately after, a pause. What can I say? Wouldn't be a learning 5 the game without a pause.
Yeah, and I mean, that's pretty important because Hargate Haley, that Annie is kind of just the walking team right now. 100% kill participation, 5 kills on that Annie. So this is basically all the gold funneled onto her. We need to see that Annie, you know, use her time efficiently, because if she's not, her team isn't really getting anything else anywhere on the map. And so with that failed gank in the bot lane, because of that DC, that actually has big implications, because that is, you know, a solid minute or so wasted for this Annie, who wants to be pressing that advantage as hard as possible to make sure that her team can snowball to victory.
Alright. And now I think it's a good time to look at itemization. I am a fan of Kingslayer building the Ninja Tabi just because of the Gangplank and because of the Sivir. That's going to be a lot of AD damage. Although I think it would have been a little bit better because of the CC from Teresa, from Hargate Haley, from Necta, and even to a point from Reactor if he got Merc Treads in order to help with the CC from all of that. Because that's going to be a lot of CC. And the magic resist would definitely benefit because of the amount of bursts that Hargate Haley's able to put out.
Yeah, because of how fed Annie is, I think you can't really make a case for not going Merc Treads here.
Mm-hmm.
But if she wasn't nearly as fed, I could see the case that you say, okay, I'm going to get Ninja Tabbies, and then I'm also going to get QSS pretty early, so I'm not going to build Merc Treads since I'm going to have a way to remove that CC anyways. But there's just so much CC that I don't think QSS is going to be enough, and that you should probably still want to go Merc Treads anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Merc Treads definitely should have been the buy here, but still itemizing defensively compared to like Berserker Graves, like a 5 out of 10. Not horrible, but not great either.
Yeah. What else do we have to comment on? The lethality.
Well, we have the
item...
GP up in the top lane. That's something
Mm-hmm.
I think we should mention. This gold lead has dwindled for this GP. You know, only 600 gold difference right now, and that's with the first blood tower taken by his team. So we're seeing this gold lead going more and more in favor of the Cho'Gath. It's kind of closing a bit with the 2 kills that he has. And
600 gold is still pretty significant, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
obviously it is a lot of gold, but Cho'Gath having extra free value from that ultimate, and we're seeing a lot less pressure from this GP onto the Cho'Gath compared to what we were seeing early game. And so, with all the pressure Hargate Haley is putting into this bot side with Necta, maybe they're ignoring top lane a little too much, and they're maybe leaving themselves, you know, a window of opportunity for their opponents for them to take the game.
Mm-hmm. All right, what is Premo's building into with Catalyst Vions? Is that an Abyssal Mask? Maybe?
Yeah, most likely an Abyssal Mask, I would think. It increases his damage output on that Cho'Gath, as well as the Orianna's damage. Misfortune not really having too much magic damage. The ultimate doesn't have any more magic damage due to the changes with her passive. It used to have some kind of mixed damage, but now it's just purely physical.
Mm-hmm.
So, mostly just for that Orianna and for himself. And I mean, it will make his split push even stronger against that Gangplank. And we could possibly see a point where Cho'Gath is just too tanky for that GP to deal with. And he's just gonna, you know, snowball over that GP.
Mm-hmm. Right now, Team TunnelSnakes are in a very good position in order to take over this game. They have a 4,000 gold lead. They have a 5-0 Annie who's able to pretty much take out whoever she wants. The only problem being is that out of the 6 kills, 5 of them are on Annie. So if Team Infinite can find a way to get onto Annie and take her out, they pretty much have access to win any team fight. Nobody else really has a whole bunch of damage. So it ends up coming down to a skill matchup. But if it's a 5v4, then I definitely think that it would go in favor of Team Infinite. Because if Annie's dead, then they have the kill advantage. They have the gold advantage on everybody else. And especially since Premos is going to be able to get tankier and tankier. Speaking of Hargate Haley, reconnecting, we should see the pause, or the unpause, coming in pretty soon.
Yeah, and so with that, I mean, you mentioned all that gold on Hargate Haley. We have a lot of ways to kill her, actually, on the side of Infinite. You have Cho'Gath with the Feast, which can add a decent amount of burst damage, about 600 right now, because of all that health that Cho'Gath has. You have the Cataclysm, you have the Jarvan EQ, you have the Shockwave, you have an Alistar who can just sit on her. There is so much to lock down that Annie.
Mm-hmm.
And she does have Proto Belt with Barrier and Flash, so she is pretty safe. So it will be a big task, but if they can accomplish it, which they definitely
Flash
have
from Hargate Haley, the ult, or the W missing, the Tibbers does come out though, and Hargate Haley does get the kill on a Kingslayer. And then shortly after, Mr. Thorster falls as well. This bottom tower is going to be uncontested. Actually, that is false. Nazi and Dream is coming down, but it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to have too much of an effect. Flag Drag does come through. But now the minion wave is here, and now Noxie and Dream. His Dream's destroyed as he backs off.
Yeah, Kingslayer used both summoners there, but Mr. Thorster didn't use any, not dropping the exhaust onto Hargate or the ultimate to remove the CC on himself and flashing away or something. So Alistar just dropping as well. Mr. Thorster, I don't know if he knew, but Alistar's ultimate removes CC from you. It's kind of a two-pronged thing. The first it immediately removes all CC on you, and you can still be CC'd afterwards, so you want to be careful when you use it. But then it also reduces the damage you take, and so if he used it to remove some of that big CC, he might still have been CC'd afterwards, but taking a lot less damage, possibly being able to escape with a flash, and then maybe defend something with his team. At the very least, not giving over even more kills to that Annie or Sivir would be pretty important.
Yeah. Right now, I just want to see Premos gobbling a minion up. Come on, it's so free. Reactor does use Cannon Barrage to try and clear this minion wave in the top lane, but it's not going to be enough. Teresa, too, looking for an engage with Demented Grapplers connecting onto Noxie and Dream. Flag and Drag does come through Premos, very tanky. The exhaust is onto Noxie and Dream, actually not getting slowed by that. Tipper's coming through, and now the Glacial Prison coming through. Barry on to mini through. Now he's so low, Necta looking for that little bit more, and he gets it. Now Premos is going to be the target of PaddyMcTunnelSnake. Gets stunned up, and the damage does come through from Demented Grapplers. And now are they rotating towards Baron right now?
It is a bit risky.
Yeah.
Cho'Gath is down, so there's no feast. But Nox and Dream still is up with the smite. Jarvan
No, they're going to be leaving. What are they doing?
Yeah, there's no middle tower. There's only a top tower left. It's a bit interesting to see them rotate down here. They have a really good situation going on to take that top tower. GP is in the bot lane. Kingslayer is in the bot lane. They have a split pusher who has teleport up. There's no real reason to be running across the map, running from mid lane. This isn't an ARAM. Take that top tower.
I mean, I guess they are looking in a good position to be able to take it. Demented Grapplers is playing very far behind, though. Another minion wave is crashing in. This is a prime example of the fact that just because you get a lead doesn't mean you automatically need to go into mid lane. I think they would have benefited a lot more. They might have even been able to take 2 towers in the top lane if they just kept going there. I'm not a fan of that. Teresa too, very far out. The headbutt does come through from Mr. Thorster, but not really anybody else to get damage in or follow up on that.
Yeah. It looks like they're just going to get some exit wards and then back out and then reset. With that middle tower going down, the map is very open. Cloud Drake is the Drake spawning in about 30 seconds, so not too much prioritization will come out from that. And so, because that mid tower is down, that does make their goal a lot more linear. What they're going to do now, ideally, GP in the bot lane, everyone else up in that top side, they're going to siege down, push down those towers. They're going to play around that Baron. With all of those middle towers down, they just need to have a mid-wave shoving in, and then they should be able to keep the pressure. They can possibly put GP into the mid lane, clear it out, and then rotate down back bottom, or just have Annie clear it out and then rotate back up top lane. She should be able to. I have a
feeling a fight's about to break out around this Cloud Dragon for some reason. Let's see.
They should not be here.
Connecting onto Teresa too, and now the Flag Dragon and Cataclysm coming out. Hargate Haley using his ultimate, trying to get some damage down. The full time coming out, and now Teresa too is in the backline. Hargate Haley very low, Noxie and Dream looking for the kill, gets taken out by Reactor. Now in the backline, Minute Root looking for Teresa 2. Teresa 2 actually looking for Kingslayer, gets taken out, and now Minute Root is going to be one of 2 members alive, and now Premos, the final member alive of Team Infinite, is trying his best to run away, but alas, he does not have the movement speed to get out of there. He gets taken out by Demented Grapplers, and that is going to be ace 5-0 for Team PaddyMcTunnelSnake, who are once again taking their wins to the mid lane to push, even if it might not be the best idea.
Well, I think this time it's a little more excusable, as there's no one up. This should be a free inhib. It's a bit interesting to see why either team was there for that Cloud Drake. First of all, as Infinite, you don't want to be fighting right now. You're just not strong enough. You need to get some more gold on your carries, and you need to make picks onto Hargate Haley. And for Tunnel, why didn't they just go Baron there instead of fighting for that Cloud Drake? I mean, it almost went really sour with Hargate Haley almost dropping there. That, with some more misexecutions in a fight, that could have went really poorly. And so just taking a Baron and then pushing down with that Baron would have been very safe.
Infinite are looking to get some vision control on a Baron. They know that Team TunnelSnakes just took Cloud Dragon and they were pretty low. So they are going to be starting up this Baron. That's a really smart Baron take. There's no vision from TunnelSnakes, but the vision is going to start coming through. It looks like Reactor is coming up, getting some barrels down, but it's not actually going to connect. Mr. Thorster. Baron is very low. The ultimate does come out. Bullet time. 2,000 health, 1,000 health to steal. Necta looking for it. The Baron goes over to Premos. The red team does secure the Baron, but that's a double kill for Teresa 2. 3 members of Infinite dead, and Premos is going to be the final one dying. Mr. Thorster, the sole survivor of his team, in 25 seconds until anybody with any significant wave clear comes up. Reactor teleporting in, doesn't have the Baron empowered minions, but he has the super minions, and that's basically all he needs. And so the super Baron empowered minions might not be enough to defend this.
Mr. Thorster cannot die, or else those Baron minions are going to go away. He has to be very careful.
I can't see what's happening.
Yeah, Mr. Thorster drops.
Towers are dying.
Respawning, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Inhib is going down, and that's actually the Nexus. That will be game 1 going over to Tunnel.
PaddyMcTunnelSnakes had a very dominant performance all game with a very strong team fighting composition. Maybe not as strong as Team Infinite, but they were able to capitalize on getting the Annie fed. And they ended up taking the game after a couple of botched calls from Infinite.
Yeah, really decisive game. That Annie was doing so much work, and we're probably gonna see an Annie ban for game 2, which something we don't see too often.
Yeah, Hargit Haley was very strong and did 7-0 and 8 on Annie. That's insane. It didn't even actually have the highest damage. That was in Gangplank. But anyways, very powerful performance. Do you have any closing thoughts before we go into pick bans for game 2?
Yeah, I just want to point out that Hargit Haley played that extremely smart, going for the Leandries against that triple tank composition of the Cho'Gath, Jarvan, Alistar, meant that there was no target that the Andy couldn't take out. And so, smart itemization, smart play, and all around really well done. 708, perfect game for that Annie in the mid lane. We're going to have to see what is going to come out game 2, because that Annie is not going to be on the table.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. So, I guess we'll throw it over to some music as we get the next lobby set up and the pick band started. So, ladies and gentlemen, please do not touch that browser, as we will be right back.
Just like birds on the wire, strung out but never tired. When the flames grow higher, we'll soar up from the fire and start again. All of the hours, all of the sleepless nights, all of the worry trapped under blinding light, all of the faces blank as the room is bright.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the EU West Week 3 Showmatch featuring PaddyMcTunnelSnake and Infinitesimalrechnung. My name is Sir Potato the Ninth, joined by Meowing Cat, and we are getting right back in picks and bans.
Yeah, and with game 1 going the way it did, so far, we're going to see in the draft, some things didn't go quite as we expected. As we're going through picks bans, we're going to see some stuff unfolding that is a bit odd. That's not actually what was banned in the pro draft, so it looks like Tunnel isn't following what they actually banned. Their first ban was actually Malzahar, not the Akali, so don't have to question marking that one.
Yeah, I mean, they're not banning out any of the opposing teams' picks, so it's not too big of a deal. Although it does leave our viewers in a bit of a informational gap.
It's the exact same bans that they actually banned last game. They went for the Malzahar, Brand, Zaya, which was the exact same thing they did last game. They're just banning A's, it looks like. So that's what they banned.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, though. I'm looking at the pro draft. There are some very interesting picks that we have to look out for. Wait a second. Yeah,
we're
some
gonna run through
very
this.
interesting picks.
Tunnel might have tunneled in their draft. They're going through pick ban very slowly, banning A champions at the last second. Kind of a little disrespectful, honestly.
I believe they actually did say that one of their picks was a mistake.
Yeah, no. So there was some mistake picks. The pro draft was sloppy, as this pick ban is going sloppy so far. We see the Ornn come out though. Ornn very strong right now. I mean, even with the nerfs to him, he's still a very highly contested pick. In both the top lane as well as support position, we're seeing a lot of play of him. This is going to be a top lane Ornn for Primos, though. And with how well he did on the Cho'Gath, you know, he did a pretty decent job. He looked like the only person on, on Tunnel. Wait, sorry, no. Brain Infinite that did decently well.
Yeah. So it was actually a Fiora. So Fiora and Ornn, which Fiora honestly hasn't really benefited against tanks anymore since the changes of Bramblevest, because it's just so easy to build that into Fiora and just counter pretty much everything. What is that? Okay.
Yeah. And so there we see this. This is a very interesting draft. And I like it a lot. There's some mixed feelings about it. But we're going to get even more into it as we see the ADCs and the supports start coming out.
I feel like we've time traveled back to a couple of
an
seasons.
Earlier day when Nunu and Kale were meta.
And Ornn is kind of there too. But you also have
Ornn
Fiora,
came back
Warwick,
with us.
and Annie.
So let's touch on that. The Annie in the mid lane, that's out again. And it wasn't banned, which is kind of surprising, seeing how good Hargate Haley did on it. But with those bans, I mean, maybe a ban could have been thrown at it, but with all that prioritization on that Annie, which was taken first pick for the red side, along with the Warwick, we see the Nunu was left up for the first pick, and Noxie and Dream snatched that away on the blue side first pick. And now, with this Nunu Kale combo that we already see, that is so strong. Kale will be smacking people crazy, left and right, destroying people. And with the ultimate from the Kale, it is going to be a lot harder for Hargate Haley to get kills and to get snowballing. Now,
Yeah.
it is worth mentioning that Minute Root did show a somewhat iffy performance on the Orianna, not using all the summoners properly and kind of giving over some free kills to Hargate Haley. Hopefully, we'll see the Kale ult, actually dropping in time, blocking the damage, hopefully blocking CC too. That would be icing on the cake.
This definitely seems like a protect the ADC composition from Infinite.
Yeah.
They have the Kale, who's going to be able to give increased movement speed and the heal, and the ultimate, which literally makes your ADC unkillable, as well as Nunu, who's able to give the attack speed buff, as well as Janna, who would be able to build an attack speed buff with Ardent Sensor, as well as, or actually everybody. Everybody has something that they're able to give Kog'Maw. So they're putting all of their eggs into the same basket of Kog'Maw and saying, okay, we need you to carry this game.
And it's not even just that though. This is like a double carry comp, because if for some reason Kingslayer, with all the protection that he has, with the Kale, with the Janna, with the frontline Ornn and Nunu, if by some reason Kingslayer dies, they can have a Kale become in like a mini Kog'Maw. They just plug and play that Kale. The Kale will do on-hit damage. Janna E on that Kale is still going to be valuable with all the attack speed she has. Nunu W on that Kale is going to be extremely valuable. And so if for some reason they lose one of their carries, they have a second one that they can just plug into that comp and make it still work. And so if one of the pieces of this team comp falls out, they can still somehow scavenge team fights, and against all the pick on the enemy team, the Morgana, the Ashe, the Annie, the Warwick, all of that hard CC, which very likely will take someone out of the fight, they can still win team fights. Even if they lose the Kog'Maw, which is, you would think, the crucial part of this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very interesting team composition that I'm very excited to see hit the Rift. Now let's take a second to talk about Team Infinite. Wait, no, Team PaddyMcTunnelSnake's team. They have like their picks just seem very like outdated. Not outdated, but these are just all champions who have been in the game for a while. Like through reworks and changes to League of Legends. But these are all like veteran champions, so to speak, who have been around for a very long time. Which is kind of funny to me. But anyways, what do you think the goal for Team PaddyMcTunnelSnake is going to be?
Yeah, so Tunnel Snakes really need to be making picks with this team, but they have to be careful who they do it around. With the Kale ulti, they have to play around that cooldown. They have to make sure they play either around the cooldown or away from that Kale. And they have a lot of pressure with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, with the Warwick, who can just leap onto someone and keep them in infinite duress for quite a while. With the bindings, they can prevent someone from moving for a solid 6+ seconds, actually, with all the CC that they have. And so it's really going to be dependent on what the Kale ulti is used on, or who they're CCing. Because if they drop all that CC on the Ornn, he might not be blown up immediately, and then his team has time to react and come and save him, and they can win the fight afterwards.
I definitely think as far as the bottom lane goes, it doesn't seem like either team have like a very specific goal. Well, let me rephrase that. Kingslayer and Mr. Thorcer are going to be staying back, and Dimension Grabalist and Teresa are probably going to be looking to be shooting out their skill shots and getting damage down.
Yeah,
that's what
if we
like
look at these team compositions, what we see is that Infinite took a protect the carry composition with Kale and the Kog'Maw as the carries, and then if you look on the opposite side, you see Tunnel. They went for a much more pick composition with the Warwick, Annie, Ashe, Morgana all having really good CC, and then they have a split pusher on Fiora, which is just so Reactor can have some kind of way to deal with the Ornn in a side lane.
All right, so both of these teams do definitely have goals that they're going to be looking to accomplish. Infinite going to be looking to team fight and protect their ADC, and then Infinite going to be looking to just split push and pretty much not die. All right, do you have any closing thoughts before we throw it over to
a quick pause? No, I want to get right into this one.
Absolutely, that's what I like to see. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back before the spectator delay winds down. But before then, we'll throw it over to some groovy jams that you guys can enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Week 3 EU West Showmatch featuring PaddyMcTunnelSnake and Infinitesimalrechnung. My name is Sir Potato, and I'm joined here by Meowing Cats, and we are right onto the rift. On team PaddyMcTunnelSnake, you got Premos on Ornn in the top lane, Noxie and Dream on Nunu in the jungle, Minute Roots on Kale in the mid lane.
Hey, buddy, wrong team.
Kingslayer. Wait, that's Team Infinite, not PaddyMcTunnelSnake. Team Infinite has Kingslayer on Kog'Maw in the ADC position, and Mr. Thor, sir, on Janna in the support role.
Yeah, and on the red team, we have, as you incorrectly labeled, PaddyMcTunnelSnake with Reactor up in the top lane, Necta in the jungle, Heartage Haley in the mid lane, Demented Grapplist in AD carry, and Teresa 2 on support.
All right, and in this game, we're seeing a lot less stopwatches, which is a bit of a relief. It can be pretty chaotic when there's 6 stopwatches going off in a team fight, but that's besides the point. We've already got not really any defensive or offensive positioning pre-laning phase from either team. They just seem to be content to leash their junglers on their blue buffs and then go to lane and start CSing.
Yeah, something I'm not too happy with is the Janna opting into that ancient coin start. I am a big advocate for spell thieves on Janna because of the pressure it gives you. You know, as Kog'Maw Janna, with this coin start, you're basically just conceding any kind of pressure you could have at all in this laning phase. You're not gonna have any kind of damage output whatsoever, and so you're just gonna get rolled at this point.
Yeah. Although it does kind of make sense, it doesn't really seem like Kog'Maw and Janna are going to be looking for hard engages, nor do they really... I don't know if they really benefit from playing very aggressively, but it does seem like their goal is going to be just stay back as much as possible.
The extra AP is also very good for the Janna, as it does give more, you know, shielding value as well as damage to that Kog'Maw. So you generally almost always go for that spell thief start on Janna.
Yeah.
Always in higher, or every higher elo Janna player will do that. It's mostly just people who don't really know Janna who go coin, which,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit blunt, but that's kind of the reality of it.
Yeah, that's understandable. Alright. So, oh wait, Kleptomancy on Fiora. You know, Fiora is definitely a champion where it doesn't seem like she has a very set keystone that works very well for her. So she ends up having to opt into things like Kleptomancy or like Airy that don't really benefit her too much. But I think of all of the keystones that you can take on Fiora, Kleptomancy is probably the best just because she benefits from her Q procs. She does get Klepto off of that. But even then, it doesn't feel like there's a very set keystone for that champion.
Yeah, well, Fiora has a few options. The most traditional is the Kleptomancy. Grasp of the Undying is an okay option against some matchups. It's basically just, if they're a tank, Kleptomancy is the best, normally. And if they're a kind of range damage dealer, like a Gnar or something along that kinds of line, you want to opt into the Fleet Footwork so you have a little more safety, and since you're not going to be getting those constant Klepto procs, you can at least get some sustain to deal with that. But
Yeah.
we do see the Klepto coming out, which I do like against the Ornn. However, she does need to be a little bit careful eating so many of those bellowing breaths. The Ornn is out of mana, so at this point, Fiora does out-sustain and should be able to out-poke and bully the Ornn. But we have to make sure that she's not getting too low from those Ornn Ws.
I'd be happy to see Reactor just trying to shove in this wave. Ornn doesn't really have that good of a time farming under his tower without minions. Minute root pretty low in the mid lane. So I think if Reactor was shoving in that wave, then Premos would have not really too many options in actually securing that CS. Teresa, very aggressive positioning, looking for that Q. Not connecting onto Kingslayer.
Yeah, and so.
In the mid lane, Necta, not actually doing anything, but showing up.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting to see that, you know, nothing has really been happening in this bot lane, especially with the Janna, who we mentioned opted into a very passive start, that Morgana and Ashe aren't able to find more aggressive opportunities. You have to be wondering, you know, is it a problem with the skill shot accuracy from Teresa too, or are they just not going for those opportunities? I mean,
Yeah.
Morgana full mana right now, maybe just use some of that, play more aggressively. You have mana regen, you know, you're just, like, she's not making any usage of the mana regen that she has at her disposal.
I definitely agree with that. So definitely, I think even Teresa, if she was just throwing down the W's, the Tormented Soils,
That's gonna get
getting
Sculptus
those
procs.
procs.
It's gonna be getting gold, yeah. You're just
That
losing
would-
out right now.
that would benefit so much more than, you know, not doing anything. And even though it only procs once, I believe, whenever
Yes,
you put a
it will.
W down, which is pretty unfortunate, but hey, it beats out not getting anything, which is currently the situation. Right now in the mid lane, Hargit Haley getting chased down by Noxie and Dream, getting slowed up, Minute Root coming in, force flash away is Hargit Haley. That's going to be the end of that engage.
Yeah, Noxie and Dream on that Nunu does not have amazing ganks, and because of Nunu into Warwick, Necta has pretty good, you know, pretty slow clears, but very healthy clears. So Nunu can't really go for an invade unless he knows where Necta is, and Necta is ganking or, you know, is spotted out by a ward while jungling.
Oh, flash from Premos. Yikes, Reactor just lunges away successfully. Wow, that was something. Suboptimal.
Yeah, and so we saw Noxie and Dream. We mentioned how his clear speed isn't great on that Nunu. He's down quite a bit of CS, you know, 12, which obviously not clearing the Raptor camp is going to be a decent chunk of that, but it's about a 300 gold lead for this Warwick already. And so Warwick with that Tiamat can farm very quickly now, can take those Raptors, and we're now seeing Necta getting a decent size of gold over Noxie and Dream.
Not getting the Q. Right there was an example of Teresa 2 not taking an available opportunity to be playing aggressively. There were no minions in front of Kingslayer and Mr. Thorser, and Teresa had pretty much a wide open shot to throw down a Q, but didn't take it. Which
Yeah.
I'm not too happy about. I really want to see Teresa like that, throwing down the Qs, getting the roots, and then Demented Grapplist will be able to follow up.
Yeah, sadly there was a minion blocking Demented Grapplist volley, but still, you want to be looking for those kinds of opportunities. Even if it's just a little bit of damage, it helps, and there's nothing that's really going to punish you, unless, say, Nunu comes down with an Orin TP coming in as well, but that's not the case, and so, realistically, you know, just fishing for some Qs is never going to really hurt you at this point in the game.
Yeah. Well, I don't think really at any point in the game. I think whenever you have Q as Morgana, it really doesn't hurt to throw it down if you're obviously throwing it at an enemy.
Yeah, I mean, there are some situations maybe when, like, a Nunu is chasing you, and right behind that is, like, a Kog'Maw, and you want to make sure that Kog'Maw stays away. You might want to hold it a little bit longer, but
That's fair.
it's very niche situations. And
Necta.
right here is one of those situations where you just want to be using it.
Yeah. Like, there's no minions, so you throw out the Q, and even if it doesn't connect, you're getting some pressure down. Reactor in the top lane. That was a nice parry on the Premos.
It
But
only
even
did
then-
block an auto attack, and now it's not up for
All
this
the
Call of
Forge
Fortune.
God not actually going to connect. The dash doesn't connect either. Reactor's dodging everything, but Orin is Orin, and still going to lose the trade. It's as simple as that. I'm not a fan of what Riot did to Orin because they introduce a unique play style. It's pretty bad because people don't know how to play it for a while. And then they buff him, but they don't buff things that need buffs. Anyways, Magic
Oh.
Grapple, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow onto Kingslayer. The Q not connecting, and neither will the ultimate from Necta. The heal does come through, and so does the exhaust. Teleport coming in through from Premise. No call forward got available. Flash from Necta. The ultimate going to connect, but it's not going to be enough. And now Hellgate Haley coming in into the bottom lane. Throws down Tibbers. Not going to connect either. And now Demented Grapplist, Teresa 2, and Hargate Haley in the bottom lane while Necta is backing. Kingslayer and Mr. Thorser probably won't have that difficult of a time defending this tower.
Yeah, Primos with the TP from the Ornn, kind of just scare them away, but at that point it was kind of already disengaged. Now, it did allow Kingslayer to flash in aggressively without, being punished, but, even though Necta didn't drop, it was okay by Kingslayer to do it at that point, but Primos' TP was a bit too late, I feel, to get any real value from. And so now that gives, the teleport advantage over to the Fiora when her TP is up. We have to see if that's going to be deciding anything up in the top lane.
Ah, man. This poor Fiora. I think Fiora is just not in a good spot in general.
She is okay, and with the clip damage, she's getting a lot of gold here.
But so low is Reactor. Oh my goodness, was that a... Oh wow, Noxie and Dream getting this steal with Consume Smite. Flashing out of the pit. That's what you like to see on Nunu. That's exactly the way you want to play that. Get the Baron, or get the Dragon, and get out.
Yeah, he actually didn't steal it. He did it. They spotted him, but they found him a little too late. Yeah, and he just flashed out of the pit after he secured it. Necta wasn't anywhere near. Hopefully they wouldn't do it against Nunu when Warwick isn't there. But yeah. This is the thing about Nunu. He has amazing objective control.
Yeah.
Excuse me for the 80th time. the Nunu Consume, which he is maxing, has a lot of value on those large monsters, and because he's maxing this Consume, it helps his clear speed a lot. With the changes to Nunu, he's actually going to be getting some on-hit damage. Now, he doesn't have any AP, and it's not too much on-hit he's getting. It's about 4 per Q stack.
Hold on. In the bottom lane, Necta, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow does come out, does connect onto Kingslayer, but at this point he's too far back. Meant to grapple a Trace 2 Necta, not having any more resources to continue the engage.
Yeah, a little bit of a wasted ulti from the Ashe. You really want to save it for when you know you can make a play with it. Because it is quite a long cooldown, 100 seconds, It's not super long, it's not one of those 3-minute ult cooldowns, but you do want to be using it wisely. And that means that, for 2.5 minutes, there is, a freed...
Flash Q coming out from Hellgate Haley onto Minute Root. The ultimate does come out, no kills yet. Absolute Zero coming out. Called Forge got as well. Minute Root solo gets taken out. First blood going over to Necta. Now second blood soon to follow. Noxie and Dream very low. Nectin looking for the kill. Noxie and Dream looking like he's going to be able to escape with his life though. But Premo's not going to be able to. Reactor takes him out with the Grand Duelist. And the kill, 2 kills going over to Team Tunnel.
Yeah, that Grand Challenge, adding extra movement speed for the Fiora means that there's no way Primus is going to make it out there. And because of how low Noxie and Dream is, and the position of this Rift Herald, making sure that Noxie and Dream doesn't have any access to it means that they're going to be able to secure this objective while that Nunu is still alive. So, no Nunu coming from a Blast Cone, just getting it, flashing out. Lucky for them. And, it is worth mentioning, the next Drake that is spawning is going to be an Air Drake. So there's really not much that Nunu wants right now. I mean, Air Drake is okay for Nunu to have, but no one really uses it on his team besides him for the most part. I mean, Janna, her damage is enhanced by movement speed, but with the Cloud Drake, that's out of combat move speed. So not going to help her really. And it helps with rotations, I guess, but, it's not a great Drake. With this composition, an Infernal would be extremely valuable, as Kog'Maw has a lot of, damage stats he's going to be building. Same for Kale. And then, that's all you need it for, really.
Yeah.
And Mountain Drake would help Nunu with objectives a lot, and so...
Absolutely. That extra true damage, ooh.
And yeah, and then an Ocean Drake being able to sustain up a little bit more for that Kog'Maw, making sure that everyone has that mana to make sure that, they have enough for their abilities. It makes a difference. Air Drake doesn't really make a difference for most of these fights. It's not going to help Kog'Maw Kite. Maybe it'll help him stay out of a fight, but...
Well, it's only out of combat. Oh, the Q does land. No follow-up. It's only out of combat movement speed, so even then... Yeah. I guess faster rotations on the
faster running away from them and not kiting away with your E as Kog'Maw doesn't seem great, but...
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
The best
Target
thing
Haley,
is,
the one that did pick up the Eye of the Herald, by the way. So we have to keep an eye on where this Annie rotates.
yeah, not nearly as dominant of a performance this game.
Yeah.
Teresa?
Still 100% kill participation though. 002 did participate in that top lane fight. And that might be enough to get Hargate Haley snowballing.
Yeah, last game, Haley was able to snowball very effectively off of the kills that she did get.
Yeah, a lot of fueling up in the top lane. Now, at this point, I feel that Fiora cannot really be killed by Ornn, and Primus really has to be careful for that true damage.
Yeah. Premos, why haven't you built a Bramble Vest yet? Anyways, minute root very low, forced to use barrier. The Herald does come out in the mid lane. It gets a good chunk of damage down, but Noxian Dream is on Nunu in the mid lane, looking to get some damage back. Premos pretty low, forcing the engage in the mid lane. Top lane, excuse me. Alright.
Yeah, I don't really like that Rift Herald usage. It's against a Nunu. He can just walk up to it, consume it, smite it, and it's going to lose a lot of its damage immediately, and then just be killed very fast, so...
Oh, Premos maybe overextending a little bit. Reactor getting the kill onto Premos. Teresa 2 underneath the tower, uses an ulti, but it gets knocked away. Now Necta coming and getting the kill on Thor. Sir, and now the double kill going over. Kingslayer dies as well, and will not have the damage to take out anybody.
Yeah, good roam from Hargate Haley again with Necta. Those two have 100%, or sorry, not 100%, as that top lane kill did come out. Just across the map though, 3 kills. 1v1 from Reactor, and then a great roam in that bottom lane, while Primus was preoccupied with that Fiora.
Yeah, Noxian Dream and Minute Root coming down, looking to contest this tower taking. Teresa too, maybe looking too far for it. Getting taken out by Minute Root. Yikes, a little bit of a lack of communication as...
and commitment.
Yeah, Demented, Grappalus, and Hargate Haley were already leaving the lane. But Teresa too was sticking around.
But not completely though. Yeah, just
questionable usage.
Spook him off. Thinking about Teresa too there, she could have gotten that tower. The Morgana could have kept autoing it. Yes, she was gonna die, but because of how long she committed anyways, she was already gonna die. And so at that point, you kind of just commit to it, say, I'm gonna die, but at least I'm gonna get the first blood tower for my team. That tower lives with 84 health. 2 autos for that Morgana. Could have had it.
And now you have Mr. Thorster, Kingslayer, and Minute Root onto this bottom tower, and here comes Noxian Dream. And they look like they're poised to take the first tower for themselves. Necta is coming in, getting the fear onto some minions, but ultimately I don't think it's going to be enough. He might be positioning a little too far forward. The teleport from Reactor does come in, and now the Absolute Zero looking for a kill. Kingslayer very low, does get taken out by Reactor, and now the flash forward from Hargate Haley connecting onto Minute Root, very low, gets taken out by, that's a double kill for Reactor. And now you got 4 members of Tunnel Snakes saying, okay, we gotta finish what we started. And 1 auto attack does the trick. First turret falls, and we're for Team Tunnel Snakes.
Yeah. Now, if they had the first turret gold earlier, they would have had their items when they back there, or more items, and so it might have been even a more dominant fight. But Kingslayer was not actually hit by that kill ulti. Kill used intervention onto Noxian Dream on that Nunu. Nunu did Absolute Zero, so maybe trying to make sure that he got it off. But I think it was just a misclick, and since the Nunu and Kog'Maw were right next to each other, it went onto the wrong target.
It's,
I'm gonna say it was a misclick rather than a misuse of ulti, kind of trying to ult the Nunu instead of Kog'Maw. That's almost never the correct choice. I mean, there is some situations where it is. In that situation, it is not.
If Nunu dies while he's casting it, it still goes off.
It's, yeah.
So it wouldn't really matter if Nunu died there. But Kog'Maw doesn't really have, or he does exponentially more damage alive than he does dead.
Yeah, well, he does damage when dead, a decent amount.
Good sign. Yeah, but it's still not nearly as much. I mean...
Yeah, you definitely want Kog'Maw to stay alive.
The only good Kog'Maw is an alive Kog'Maw.
Well, I mean, you know, you could get a pentakill with that passive.
That's true.
No one's saying you can't.
Only good Kog'Maw. You could get a pentakill.
Flashes into tower to die with passive into the pentakill. The best Kog'Maw of all.
Disco Kog'Maw.
Oh.
Well, he's still... Oh, wait. Actually, I just realized Kog'Maw does have stopwatch. He could have used that last fight, but...
I think if he stopwatched in that position, it would have been a waste, as he's kind of... The enemy team was pushing into his team. It's not like that he was being dove by an Annie or something. or you know, a Fiora, the whole
Yeah.
team was moving forward, and so he would have been stuck in the middle of an enemy team by himself. At that point, I think you're just kind of expecting your Kale to ult you, and you know, you're not gonna use your stopwatch and just waste it and die afterwards anyways.
Speaking of wasting, Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes a little wide.
I thought you were gonna mention Primos's play against the Fiora. Wasted.
No. Well, that's not too bad because that's not on a 100-second cooldown. Or yeah, it is 100 seconds.
Well, I mean, Ornn dying's on a pretty decent death timer. What? It's like a 40-second.
I don't think 40 seconds.
No, sorry, it's
Not
way shorter than that. It's like
Yeah.
27 or so at this
Oh
point.
wait, the ultimate used by Minute Root. That's a bad ultimate. That's not questionable. That was not an ultimate that should have been used right there. Not even close to dying. Above 50% health. Yet still.
I think it was used to block out damage from the anti-Tibbers. If it blocked the initial Tibbers cast, I think that is correct. The thing about Kill Ulti, you don't want to use it when you're just about to die. You want to use it to block the burst damage. And so if it I missed when it was initially used. If it was used to block the Tibber, which Tibbers was used, if it was used to block that initial cast, that is definitely very good ult usage because Minute Root might have died otherwise.
Yeah, that seems. I'm not sure if that
That's
would
the
be an
only situation where it
overestimation.
is okay there. And
Yeah.
if it's only to block Tibbers slapping you, then it is a waste. But I think it might have blocked the initial cast, which is definitely very.
We'll give him the
vital.
benefit of the doubt. This tower is very highly contested in the mid lane. Infinite does have a very low mid tower, and Tunneler's trying everything they've got to take it out. Right now, every outside tower is very hot. In the top lane, you had Reactor and Premos for the last like 20 minutes actually, just trying to take the other team's tower, but neither of them are able to find a foothold in order to do so. But right now, it does seem that this tower is going to fall. Hellgate Haley looking onto Mini Root. The ultimate does come out from Premos. The team fight is breaking through, but the Root actually prevented the second cast of Premos' ulti. That's a little unfortunate.
Yeah, I think that if it was recast, I don't think it would have had much value from it. It didn't look like anything would really come from it, so it's not that big of a deal. But it's a nice little slap in the face for Primos.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And so right now, you actually have Premos in the bottom lane. You got a bit of a lane swap. Premos in the bottom lane, Kingslayer and Mr. Dorser rotating to the top side, which makes sense. I mean,
There's no bottom objectives left. You do want your top side to be where your duo is, because that's where the objectives are. With the Baron up in the top lane, with those top towers still standing, you want to get them down as soon as possible, because there is a Mountain Drake up in 140, so you want to really just finish off that top tower if you can, and then rotate down to the mid lane, or in the bot side. I think mid lane is next point of contention when that Drake is up. But you want to ideally take that tower really soon, because you don't have much longer that you want to stay up there with your carries.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it will actually go down really shortly to the side of Infinite.
Gets taken out because Noxie and Dream overwhelms Demented Grappalus and Teresa with the numbers, and it does end up falling.
Yeah. Quick little thing I want to point out. I really am feeling iffy about a few things. One, the Kog'Maw going for attack speed boots against all that CC. I feel like Merc Shreds are too valuable, and Kog'Maw, you know, he already gets a lot of attack speed. I think at this point you just want to become a little bit tankier so you don't get 100 to 0'd, which we have seen a few times because of all that anti-damage, because of all that, you know, that CC. Merc Shreds would help a lot with that. Oh.
Uh-oh. Absolute zero.
Hitting absolutely 0 people.
Good one.
Yeah, but 30 seconds until that Drake is up. We do want to see these junglers kind of be looking towards it at that time.
Yeah. In the bottom lane,
don't wanna-
Reactor. Good split push.
Yeah, you don't want to put people in that bot lane though, because there is a Baron up in this top side of the map. So you need to be hovering in that mid lane and maybe going for the dragon before that Baron is started. And if you know if you start dragon and they start Baron, you can easily make it over there and then beat those low health people. So
I think Reactor does have a good reason to be in bot lane. He has teleport.
oh yeah, you
available.
want Reactor here with that teleport. Yeah. I'm saying you don't want to put the bot lane in bot lane right now.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Call
now
the
that tower is dropped, and this is really interesting. The dragon's being soloed by Necta. I don't know if he can do it fast enough, but if he gets away with this, they get the tower, they get the Drake. That would be amazing. Nunu is coming up though, and it could definitely be
have
stolen
flash.
away.
There is
Oh,
vision.
blast cone.
Yeah, everybody's actually piling on him. He's forced to flash out of there, but Reactor is kind of in a bad spot. The Dragon will not be contested by a flash burn by Noxian Dream. Wait, not Noxian Dream. Who flashed there? Oh, Reactor flashed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is an Earthstrike secured. So, I mean, really, it seemed like Infinite did well. They got that top tower, but then they kind of just diddled around for a bit and didn't really do anything. They were like, maybe we just defend this tower, and they're like, no, let's just leave it. They leave the tower, they lose the tower, and they lose the Mountain Drake. You know, and I mean, you really do want to keep that Mountain Drake up because Fiora will be strong with that split push. She's going to take towers much faster now. And Warwick can melt objectives with the Annie and the Ashe. And I mean, think about how much faster a Kale Kog'Maw can do a Baron.
Kale Kog'Maw, Nunu.
With an Earthstrike, right? Think about how fast objectives drop with those with the double carries, with a Nunu buffing them up. I mean, you want that Drake, and losing it is a big blow to the side of Infinite.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, I am a fan of the three control wards on Team Tunnel. Definitely prioritizing getting that vision, and right now I only see one control ward placed on the map by Team Infinite. And I am a big advocate for buying plenty of control wards. Pretty much whenever you get the opportunity, I think it's a very good idea to have a control ward on the map.
Yeah, I want to mention Infinite's vision line. They have a defensive entrance vision line setups, right? So they do have an actual whole line of vision across the map. But it's only entrance vision. They don't have any real deep vision to catch people in rotations when they're further in. And so they need to make sure that they're advancing their vision as, you know, as far as possible. And at the same time,
Hellgate Haley looking for the damage, getting onto Kingslayer, uses stopwatch, does end up getting taken out. Now the ultimate coming through from Necta, and now 3 members are dead on Team Infinite. And now the tower is going to be taken in the Viz lane.
Yeah,
Maybe looking for another one. They have the option to go for Baron right now. They have plenty of DPS. Call of the Forge God coming through. Not connecting to get the team fight started.
Yeah,
Now
it looks like it will pressure them off. But yeah, they're turning their attention to that Baron.
Oh, to the top side, not to the Baron.
I don't like this. Baron's up, Nunu's down, and I mean, you can get a top inner tower, or you can get a Baron, which gives a lot of gold, more gold, and you can use it to get even more towers afterwards. I definitely think that was a heavy misplay, opting into, you know, going for that mid, and then when pressured off of that mid. If you get the mid inhibitor, that's okay, or the mid inhibitor turret, that's okay. You get Baron immediately afterwards. They didn't get that turret.
Spawning out Necta. Necta forced flash away. That's big. Forcing flashing forward is Mr. Thorster. And now Necta actually gets taken out. Baron is going to be threatened and probably taken by Team Infinite. They have Nunu, they have Kale, they have Kog'Maw, they have the Mountain Dragon. They have every resource they need in order to start this Baron up. And even the Blast Cone has been taken out.
Yeah, there's very little window for steal here.
Not actually getting the Baron. The Baron gets taken away, and Teresa overextending. Noxian Dream not going to get the slow, but Kingslayer does have the damage. The Q is going to be burned, and that was actually exactly the situation that we were talking about earlier. Teresa being chased by a Nunu and a Kog'Maw, but alas, going back for seconds, still going to be able to cancel some backs and get away safely. That's actually really funny. I guess I might have been right.
That's the one situation. Well, it happened. Alright, we're done. Casting's over. Our life has been completed. Oh, Mr. Thorster using that ultimate in base. Whoops.
Ooh, there you go.
I want to touch on some things really fast. So, in this bot lane, itemization-wise, I don't like the Moby Boots on Janna. I don't really find it that useful. She already gets so much out-of-combat movement speed when her W is available.
Oh, Hargati Haley onto Mr. Thorster, getting him blown up. Now this is a 5v4 situation. Yikes.
Yeah. And
Enchanted Crystal Arrow going down, just shy of actually connecting with anybody. 28 seconds on to Janna.
Yeah. Now, Janna cannot be positioned aggressively. Noxian Dream needs to make sure that he's also huddled around the team. That Nunu with the locket is what's going to be keeping people alive. if you don't have that locket nearby, you are going to get 100-0'd by that Annie. Which, I mean, you got to question, why was it not banned? Response bans are allowed, you know. So maybe in the first game, if they saw...
Not connecting. Call of the Forge God coming through. Teresa 2 using Black Shield on himself. Actually, the only person who was affected by Call of the Forge God not getting knocked up.
Yeah, nice Black Shield there, but as we mentioned, Annie made it through. That's the one thing we were kind of saying, that's not going to make it through next game. It made it through. Yeah. And yes, they have a really good composition with the Nunu, Kale, Kog'Maw, Jenna, but you're still just getting smacked around by that same old Annie.
Also, shout out to the fact that Nunu has had this stopwatch the entire game. Still hasn't used it.
Teresa does too.
Wait, I thought that was... I don't think that's a starting stopwatch, is it? She's obviously building towards Zanya's.
Yeah. If you do build towards Zanya's, you definitely do want to have the starting stopwatch anyways. And it is the starting stopwatch.
Okay. Yeah, so, not so sure about that.
Yeah,
anyway.
So... I mean, you gotta also think about it, right? Teresa, with that stopwatch, died a few times, had it up, and also with the stopwatch available, if you use a Flash Morgana ulti into stopwatch, that's a very strong combo.
Yeah, you get to hold them down, and just keep them there. Teresa, now with all of the Qs, anytime she gets the opportunity, Teresa's throwing out a Q. That's what I like to see.
Kind of making up for that early game.
Yeah.
But... Alright. Now an Air Drake to match the Air Drake, so Air Drake and Mountain Drake to the Air Drake and Mountain Drake. It's all tied up in that regard. However, the gold lead is not tied up, as it is still a 6k lead in favor of Tunnel, which...
Minute Root maybe getting caught out by Reactor, who has so much health, so much damage. The Redemption comes through, and so does the Barrier. But Noxie and Dream is coming in for the support. Minute Root maybe looking to turn it? No, actually not.
Oh, no. Oh no. Look at Noxie and Dream's inventory. That's an Ornn item at 31 minutes. Oh my
Annie. Haley looking for the engaged. Kog'Maw kept alive using Flash and Heal. And now Premo's very far ahead. Getting the kill onto Teresa. But meanwhile on the top side, Noxie and Dream very far forward. Getting taken out by Reactor. And now Hellgate Haley getting taken out as well. This is a 3v3, 3v4 situation in favor of Team Infinite.
Yeah, and this might become a much longer game. Because of the scaling on the side of Infinite, they have a Kog'Maw kill with a Nunu Janna. There's no way that they get outscaled with Ornn items to top it off. This is just a ticking time, a ticking time bomb for the side of Tunnel, and they need to close it out ASAP. They had a good decisive lead, but with that little hiccup, that might be enough to throw a wrench in their plans and to slow this game to a standstill. In which case, Infinite will scale up and win this game. Yeah,
absolutely. Somebody mentioned in the chat that Ornn definitely should be building a locket. He has so much health that building a locket really wouldn't damage anybody.
Yeah, and I mean, Nunu rushing the locket isn't great. I don't like that. You know, you don't get too many stats bonus on that Ornn upgrade, but the base locket, just leaving it at that, would have been amazing for the Nunu.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Ornn needed a locket with Nunu already having it. I think maybe like something like an Abyssal Mask would be really good on Ornn because of, you know, how much AP his team has. Someone needs an Abyssal Mask on this team comp. Whether it be the Ornn or the Nunu. And I think that Ornn will be closer to the enemy team rather than Nunu, who should be sitting further back towards his allies with that locket. And so, not itemizing for anything kind of team related, looking more like he's going to go for more selfish items, is definitely not something I'm liking from Premo's build here.
Yeah, Minute Root in the top lane actually whacking away on this tower, but now Noxie and Dream looking like he's getting engaged on, flashing away from the enchanted Crystal Arrow. And now the Call of the Forge God getting cancelled once again as the second cast is not able to be pulled through. Hargate Haley using Tibbers and Mr. Thorster very low. Hargate Haley so low. Does get taken out by Kingslayer. Now the absolute zero coming through. Now Necta gets taken out as well. That's a double kill for Kingslayer. Reactor so low in the middle of everybody gets taken out. And now Kingslayer is dead, running around with his like a chicken with his head cut off. Reactor forcing flash out of Premos. Now flash forward from Reactor, looking on to Premos. And now the damage coming through. The parry comes through. And now the lifesteal so insane. Mr. Thorster getting held alive barely by Minute Root. And now Reactor and Teresa and Demented Grappalus are going to be in this mid lane fighting against Mr. Thorster and Minute Root. Will Minute Root and Mr. Thorster have the defense? It seems like if it's defensive Grappalist, Teresa and Reactor will be backing off.
Yeah, and that's... Oh my. You know why that happened the way it did? Minute Root, a kill with barrier, not teleport, was top lane split pushing.
Yeah, that was a very bad idea.
No...
Can't deny that.
Yeah, without the intervention for that Kog'Maw, he got blown up. And you want to be playing around this Kog'Maw right now. Look at your composition. It is a protect the carry comp. You're supposed to protect the carry. If the carry does, you can also become that carry, but you need to be there in that fight. You can't be split pushing. You have Ornn with teleport. He needs to be holding Fiora in a side lane, and he needs to be careful doing it because she is very strong, and she's oh so much stronger now that you let that team get even more kills onto her.
Yeah, this Baron is going to be started up, and it honestly seems like it's going to be very low. 4,000 health. Noxian Dream getting stunned up. The Baron is continued to be taken. 3,000 health. Noxian health not being able to. Infinite Duress is coming through, and now Presmo's taking out Dimension Grappalist. Baron's still up, and now Kingslayer popping off, getting some kills. That is 3 members dead on Tunnel Snakes, and now Infinite are in the lead. Reactor is the final member alive on his team, backing up, and now, oh, Nunu? Minute Root is the one following, but Nunu, Noxian Dream, Premos, and now it seems like Minute Root and Kale are following back. And now Reactor going into the mid lane, potentially looking for a base race, but he's not going to have any options. Baron's going to be taken very quickly. The DPS is there. You have the Kog'Maw. The teleport, not really necessary. You get the Baron right now. 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. You've backed, and now you're able to defend your base with the Baron-empowered minions.
Yeah, the Fiora might have gotten a turret to half HP, but it definitely isn't worth wasting that teleport for by Primos. And teleport at this stage in the game is so important. You cannot be wasting it. You want that Ornn in a side lane or sitting in the mid lane, being able to clear those waves out and just TP in for a team fight. Now that you don't have that, it's going to be a lot harder to siege down. At this point now, it looks like you're just going to have to keep your team mid lane until that mid inhibitor respawns. There should be only a few more waves coming in from that mid lane though, so they can still play around that. But you never want to waste TP. You know, half your inhibitor or Nexus turret's health isn't worth a TP at this point.
Yeah.
And
look at the gold difference between Hargate Haley and Minute Root. Just because of the CS, there's almost 100 CS in favor of Minute Root.
Yeah,
and that's
but then if you look at the CS difference, oh,
that's almost a completed item.
Yeah. The thing is, all that CS went on to Reactor, who has definitely snowballed on this Fiora.
Dragon.
You don't want Reactor to be getting any more farm though, because she is full build, but that's why this Fiora hit that power spike so early.
Infinite are threatening this dragon. Minute Root is on to Reactor, uses the ultimate defensively, not actually in a position where it was too much danger. Noxian Dream does have Smite Consume available. 2,000 health, the Consume Smite goes through. Blue team gets it. Halgate Haley flashing forward onto Kingslayer. Kingslayer is still alive, getting the kill onto Teresa and looking for more. Reactor is in the backline, does have Guardian Angel available, but will Team Infinite have the movement speed to catch up? Kingslayer deciding to attack some minions instead.
Yeah, and it really feels like Tunnel.
That top tower.
Yeah, there is a recall that came out, but since no one has TP, this is going to be a lot. This is going to slow down the pace of the game quite a bit. Now, it is worth mentioning, you know, if Primos had TP here, he could have just TP'd, recalled, clear that wave out, and then, you know, just kept on clearing out top lane, making sure it's pushing, and then TPing back to the team. They are down that kill right now. Minute Root not nearby, sitting in base actually, looking for items. You need to hurry up and get out of there, buddy. Kingslayer left exposed.
Team fight looking like it's on the brink of breaking out. Necta's very low. This middle tier 2 tower from Team Tunnel getting taken out.
No, Minute Root, don't just go top lane again.
That seems to be what he's doing anyways. This 4v5 situation in favor of Team Tunnel because Minute Root is not there. Hargate Haley does have ultimate, does have stun.
It's about to be a 5v5 with no kill ulti. They can maybe do this.
Let's see. Minute Root is walking up, and Infinite are walking back. Reactor getting a little bit caught out. The ultimate from Ashe getting a little bit too far wide. And now everybody's laying down the damage. Mr. Thorster gets the kill. Now Kingslayer trying his best to carry the fight. He gets the ultimate from Kale on him, and he's getting the kills. The damage is going through. That's a quadra kill. And that's going to be the pentakill for Kingslayer. the 5-for-2 ace in favor of Team Infinite, as they are going to be able to cancel or to close out the game.
Yeah, they turned the series around and are gonna make this a 1-1. And I mean, we saw the kill ulti finally get down onto Kingslayer, and that's all it needed. Just one fight, and we see Kingslayer get the pentakill with that Nunu, with that Kale buffing, with that Janna buffing. This is just an unstoppable force of a team composition, and they finally executed upon it, and they played to their win conditions.
And win is exactly what they did, as Kingslayer was able to carry that final fight and able to carry the final, and able to get the final results of the game in his team's favor. So in the end, it is going to be a 1-1 draw between teams PaddyMcTunnelSnake and Infinitesimalrechnung. What a series that was. Wow.
Yeah, a stomp of a game 1, but a super close game 2. And I mean, while PaddyMcTunnelSnake do have really good laners, Infinite, I'm not going to say the full name, played to their win conditions and played really smart. And they executed upon it and won the game too. So really good turnaround by them.
Absolutely. And this is only a 2-game series, so there will not actually be a game 3 where they can duke it out. Maybe if they want to go on to ARAM or something after this. But anyways, that is going to be the series. If you haven't already, make sure you check out the links down below. You can check out what this program is all about, where you join a team with a coach and you learn about League of Legends. You look to improve. Check out the YouTube, where all of the VODs will always be posted. Check out the Twitter and Facebook, where you can stay updated. And if you haven't already, of course, join the Discord if you like our program and like what we do. And if you like what we do, but you don't play League of Legends, or you like Heroes of the Storm, well, boy, do we have the Discord for you. We also have the Heroes of the Storm Discord available for you guys to join. So make sure you check through all of those. And if you haven't already, check out mine and Meowing Cat's Twitter accounts, SirPotatoIX and LolMeowingCat, where you guys can keep up with ourselves. Anyways, that's going to be it. Do you have any closing thoughts, Mr. Meowing Cat?
Yeah, we do have a show match later tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Western. So that is going to be something to keep an eye out for, as it is an NA show match instead of EU. So crossing the pond back over. We're taking a lot of swimming lessons for this. But yeah, it should be interesting to see you guys later tonight if you want to tune in for that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out, and please do come back later tonight with another spicy game. My name is SirPotatoSnake, joined by Meowing Cat, and we are signing off.